Hey, what's going on, everyone? So I wasn't going to talk about this situation, but I had a conversation with my mom last night, and then it came up, and I wanted to extrapolate on it, so here we are.
Supreme victory!
So for those of you that don't know, Colin Kaepernick is a quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, and he recently sat down during a national anthem during the preseason of the NFL.
I am not going to stand up to show pride in a flag for a country that oppresses black people and people of color. He went on to say, quote, "To me, this is bigger than football, and it would be selfish on my part to look the other way. There are bodies in the street and people getting paid leave getting away with murder," end quote. The 49ers released a statement saying, quote, "The national anthem is and always will be a special part of the pregame ceremony. It is an opportunity to honor our country and reflect on the great liberties we are afforded as its citizens. In respecting such American principles as freedom of religion and freedom of expression, we recognize the right of an individual to choose and participate or not in our celebration of the national anthem."
So a lot of people have been talking about this, the media, Twitter, I mean, just everyone, just across the board, and there's a lot of people that are supporting him, and there's a lot of people that are against him, and I have an interesting point of view about it. Like, say, overall, I don't respect what he did, and I don't agree, but at the same time, I understand why he did it, and let me break that down for you. First of all, Colin Kaepernick is a celebrity, and, with a lot of celebrities, they get caught up in what they're doing. And then when they do find out about certain situations, like say things that have to do with activism, so obviously Colin Kaepernick is now aware of Black Lives Matter. And so, he probably got a lot of the sound bites, got a lot of the videos that are being shared around in the black community showing you, the type of stuff that I've tried to debunk, about police brutality, because that's one of his main things that he focuses on, saying that, people of color are being oppressed by police, and they're getting paid leave for killing people. And so that's one of the main things that I wanted to focus on. I do agree that there is a problem with excessive force. Like, I remember watching Cops when I was a kid, and I'd be seeing, suspects running away from the police and then the police chasing after them. And it seems like too many times that a lot of times when you run away, the cops just get lazy, get a little trigger happy, and just shoot the hell out of somebody. And I think that kind of sucks, but I don't just blame the police entirely, because a lot of these people, they're getting in situations and they're escalating it to a point where they get themselves killed. I think that sucks, but it's one of those things where you gotta be smarter. You can't mess around when people are armed, just listen to instructions, and most likely, probably 99% of the time, you're not gonna be killed. I know there's isolated incidents, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying overall, you're probably going to be okay. You might be in jail, but you won't be dead. And just like the NFL, I also recognize that Kaepernick has the right to do this, that's not my beef. It's like, should you have done it? And it's a thing that, I think he doesn't even understand. He's talking about oppression in this country, and it's supposed to be about freedom and everything, and what the flag's supposed to represent. But I think he's missing the point of, hey, you live in this country, and you're able to do stuff like this. Maybe you should kind of realize that, maybe this is a good thing, and maybe you shouldn't be disrespecting the flag. And I know there's a lot of people that do, that's not the big, it's just what you're kind of saying almost kind of contradicts how free and how amazing this country really is. And I think that's what a lot of people are disappointed about. Now, Black Lives Matter and worrying about people of color is not the only thing he talked about. And I think a lot of the media is missing out on that, because he also talked about the veterans and how poorly they're being treated. Something that I absolutely agree with, where he talked about he knows friends and family that are in the military and he respects them deeply, as do I. Even though I personally, disagree with a lot of the wars, the proxy wars and things that are going on. These people are humans and they should be taken care of. And our government is not taking care of a lot of our veterans, obviously, with the suicide rates and horrible healthcare and all this kind of stuff. And so he's also saying he's sitting down for that as well, and that's something that I agree with. Also, within his interview, he mentioned about Hillary Clinton should be in prison, so I thought that was pretty funny. And I was just he's not completely just whacked in the head, but at the same time, he's just a rich kid with a lot of money, and he just feels like he has to do something. He's like, what can I do but just sit down? I'm like, bro, there's a lot you can do. You make $19 million a year. There's plenty you can do, but I guess, he just would rather just bring some attention and then talk about some things, and I think that's pretty much as far as it needs to go. So what do I think overall? Overall, I think he's misguided, but he means well. And that's the thing. There's a lot of people in the Black Lives Matter and Black community that mean well, but they just don't understand. And the thing is, they might say the same thing about me, but I also have facts and logic behind me. So I can't really compare myself to them. And the last thing I want to mention is what happened to Cam Newton, the quarterback for the Carolina Panthers, where he came out and just said some stuff like, oh, his criticism is not about racism. He thinks that we're beyond that as a nation. And I happen to agree with him. Like, say, if we weren't, I think he wouldn't even be a quarterback. Kaepernick wouldn't be a quarterback, that type of stuff. I think people are focusing too much on these little, these little things, these little trivial issues, and blowing it up into like, oh my God, it's Jim Crow, it's the 19 fucking blah, 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 we've been over this again. And seeing the type of backlash that he got was just ridiculous. You would think that, like, yeah, maybe people would be like, yeah, I think we are. I think we're progressing. We're moving forward. But obviously, that's not how they see it. That's not how Kaepernick sees it. And I was just looking at the comments of one of the videos where he did that GQ interview and where he started to say that stuff. And the type of, I mean, just take a look at this stuff. Like, you see this stuff and they're like trying to force him. They're like trying to force him to be a victim. They're like, come on, you know the truth. You know that you're oppressed. You know that there's racism and a lot of criticism comes because of this. And I'm like, dude, why are you telling him? He's telling you how he sees it and you should respect that. But you're like, no, it's not like that. We're victims, damn it. And look at this gem right here. When white people give a black man money, he don't care about the black community. Oh yeah, just when white people give black men money, is that it? Or is it just that black people in general don't care about the black community? Obviously, when we try to talk about black on black crime, you dismiss it. Obviously, when the flood happened in Baton Rouge recently, there was no Black Lives Matter, there was no big thing, there was no Kaepernick, there was nobody over there trying to save them and trying to help out. I mean, and I want to end off with something that I talked about with my mom last night. Basically, when we were talking about this whole Kaepernick thing, she also talked about there was a missing black kid in Arizona. That's where she lives. And, it was all over the news, and they were interviewing a few people, and like, oh man, he's so beautiful, poor kid, we have to find him. So there was a search party, and within the search party, there was probably like 2 or 3 black people. The rest of them were all white, looking for this black kid. And so what I'm trying to say is, do you think the black community really gives a fuck? No, they're sitting at home, chilling, doing whatever the hell there is that they're doing. And I'm just saying that, and that's just a tiny example. And then Baton Rouge was just another example. And there's plenty of examples, but what I'm trying to say is that it has not, it's just ridiculous that people are pushing so hard for there to be a fucking problem in this country. That's all I have to say on this situation. What do you guys think about it? Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and y'all have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. Please like, subscribe, and share the video if you dig my content. And I just want to give a big shout out to my patrons: Troy, Zan, Sebastian, Hannah, Paul, Ian, Jason, Ramon, Peter, Moot, Blackhammer07, Bex, Naja, Robert, Joseph, Jacob, Misty, James, Obi, Brandon, Char Saint, Base Cripple, awesome name, Arthur, Brett, and Jason. Thank you guys so much for being a patron and being along for this ride. And if any of you new people want to become a patron as well, you can see the link in the template, or it's in the description as well, so check that out. And you all have a wonderful day, and Papa bless.